What happens when the human body just heals itself from an incurable disease? Or when someone survives an accident that should have been instantly fatal? There are moments in history, documented and checked, that make you question everything you thought was possible. These aren't just myths. They're real stories that have left doctors and scientists scrambling for answers they may never find. What happens when science runs out of explanations? Let's look at the events that have experts searching for answers, and you won't believe they're real. Our first story takes us to a small town in the Pyrenees Mountains of France, called Lourdes. Since 1858, millions of people have traveled here, hoping for a miracle from its famous spring water. And while thousands of cures have been claimed, the Catholic Church has one of the world's most demanding medical verification processes. As of April 2025, only 72 cases have been officially recognized as medically unexplainable miracles. For a healing to be certified, it has to be a complete, instant, and permanent recovery from a documented and often incurable condition. The International Medical Committee of Lourdes, which includes doctors and scientists of all beliefs, has to rule out every possible scientific reason before a case is even considered. One of the very first to pass this rigorous test was a woman named Catherine Latapie. After a bad fall in 1856, a nerve in her arm was paralyzed, leaving her hand unusable. On March 1st, 1858, she went to the grotto, bathed her hand in the spring, and its function was immediately restored. It took years of investigation, but her cure was declared a miracle on the 18th of January, 1862, which set the standard for the strict documentation that continues today. More recently, the 70th recognized miracle left the medical world stunned. It was the case of Sister Bernadette Morial. For years, she had suffered from a severe spinal condition that left her in a wheelchair and in constant pain. She depended on daily morphine and a spinal neurostimulator just to get through the day. In 2008, she went on a pilgrimage to Lourdes. During a blessing for the sick, she felt an intense warmth spread through her body. She said she heard a voice telling her to take off her braces. Back in her room, she did exactly that. She removed her leg brace, her corset, and shut off her neurostimulator. Then, for the first time in decades, she walked. No help, no pain. Her doctors were speechless. The healing was sudden, complete, and it lasted. After 10 years of exhaustive medical reviews by experts from all over the globe, her healing was officially declared a miracle in 2018. Doctors had no medical explanation for how her condition had so totally reversed itself. It's a documented case that simply happened. But some miracles aren't about a gentle healing. They're about an impossible will to survive. In June of 2006, Truman Duncan was working as a switchman in a Texas rail yard. He slipped off a moving rail car and fell onto the tracks. Before he could even think, he was pulled under the train. The 20,000-pound car dragged him for nearly 75 feet before stopping.
He should have died instantly, but he didn't. In the silence that followed, Truman realized he was conscious and had been almost completely severed in half. In a moment of unbelievable clarity, he pulled out his cell phone. What he told the 911 operator is chilling. The call came in, and the operator asked, "Someone got run over?" Truman's calm reply was, "It was me. I think I'm cut in two."
For 45 agonizing minutes, he lay there, conscious, talking to the dispatcher and even calling his family to tell them he loved them. When paramedics finally found him, they couldn't believe it. He was not only alive, but alert. The lead ER doctor waiting for him, Dr. David Smith, later said he expected to be declaring someone dead, not treating a patient. Truman had lost more than half his blood. He was airlifted to a hospital and put into a medically induced coma for 3 weeks. He went through 23 different surgeries. Doctors had to amputate what was left of his legs, his pelvis, and a kidney. They said his odds of survival were 1,000,000 to 1, and yet he survived. Just months later, he was back at work in an office job at the very same rail yard. Doctors still can't explain not only how he survived the initial trauma, but how he found the will to live through it all. Truman Duncan's story is a stark reminder that sometimes the determination to live is the most powerful medicine there is.
If you're finding these stories as incredible as we are and want to explore more mysteries that challenge what we know, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We've got more unbelievable true stories on the way.
From unbelievable survival, we move to a mystery you can only see under a microscope. These are called Eucharistic miracles. They happen when a consecrated host, the bread wafer used in Catholic communion, appears to transform into living tissue. While these stories are centuries old, a few modern cases have been put under the scientific microscope. One of the most fascinating happened on the 21st of October 2006 in Tixtla, Mexico. During a mass, a nun noticed a reddish substance oozing from one of the hosts. The church didn't jump to conclusions. Instead, they brought in a scientific team led by Dr. Ricardo Gomez to investigate. The team ran a series of forensic tests on samples of the substance, and their findings were stunning. The red stuff was human blood. The blood contained hemoglobin, intact human DNA, and was blood type AB. This is the same rare blood type found in other famous Eucharistic miracles, and, most famously, the same type found on the Shroud of Turin. But they didn't stop there. The tissue itself was identified as myocardium, the living muscle from a human heart. It appeared to be from the left ventricle, the part of the heart that pumps blood to the rest of the body. The tissue showed signs of being under extreme stress, but it also contained intact white blood cells, something that should be impossible for a sample taken from someone who had died. And this wasn't a one-time thing. A similar event happened in Legnica, Poland. On Christmas Day in 2013, a host was dropped, placed in water to dissolve, and instead developed red stains. Forensic analysis confirmed it was human heart tissue, also showing signs of intense stress, and it was also blood type AB. The scientists who've studied these cases have no natural explanation. How does bread seemingly turn into living, stressed human heart tissue with a specific, rare blood type that connects it to other unexplained events? It's a forensic mystery that blurs the line between faith and science. From the healing waters of Lourdes, to a Texas rail yard, to a sterile lab. These events seem completely unrelated, but they all share one thing in common. They defy any simple explanation. They force us to reconsider what's real and show us that there are still things science can't explain. They prove that the human spirit, and maybe something more, is capable of the truly miraculous. These aren't just stories. They are documented events that make you wonder about the limits of what we really know. Thanks for watching. Which of these stories blew your mind the most? Let us know in the comments. And for more incredible true stories and unsolved mysteries, be sure to check out our next video.